Hey Taurus, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your storyline or wavelength here, go check your other major placements. And I've been leaving photos of the spread at the end of the video, so if you like to follow along or check my work or whatever, for those of you that like that, there you go. I mean, sometimes I don't because I forget. Ooh, I like this card. Anything else for dear lovely Tauruses? Oh my gosh. You've got a lot of stuff from the past coming up this week. Holy moly. I've never gotten these two cards together. So this is the two cards in this deck, the companion cards, which are companion cards. So this one is the journey and the other one is my dear friend. The other one is like decades and decades down the line, and you guys are both older. You've grown together. You haven't been together every step of the way physically, but you have like been together in spirit, and you've grown up together. So this is the beginning. So this could either be referencing the beginning of a long-term relationship you've been in, or it could be referencing just a new beginning right now. If someone that you're just meeting, but the bonds are very strong, very passionate. You are immediately recognize each other as kindred spirits. So there's something like that, either referencing something from a long time ago, or this is an experience for this week of meeting someone, or it could be work too, of something that you're going to be with and experiencing for a long time in the future. So something long term is either being remembered this week. And the reason why I say remembered is because we've got treasured memories here. So this could, without this card, I would be more inclined to say there's something coming up this week that's going to be a big part of your life for a very long time. But we also have treasured memories. So this is normally, you know, our thoughts are just a big sky, and these clouds are our thoughts, and they go through it. And some of those clouds are memory type clouds, and some of them are idea and planning clouds, and they go through. And especially if we're meditating, we let those clouds just pass. We can pay attention to them, we can interact with them, we can appreciate them, but then let them just flow through and move on. But this is when you're not letting flow through and move on. This is when you've got wrapped tightly around your hand. It's a very passionate memory. Both of these I've never seen these two cards together, so it's kind of interesting for me. They both have these red flowers in their hair, so passionate beginnings, passionate on the mind. You view it very, it's definitely referencing each other with those red flowers in the hair there. So, and these are just such dear, treasured memories to you of the beginning part of some sort of long-term journey you've been on. It could be with a career, with another person. That's just really on your mind this week. What I think is fascinating, though, just personally, my parents' anniversary is coming up this week, and they've been together 51 years. So, and my dad's a Taurus. So I was just thinking about this, and I wonder if that's on their minds. 51 years, huh? Wild. And then here we have tiny triumphs. And this is that instinct, intuition coming in really large, really obvious, maybe even a bit humorous with an inside joke for you. But the intuition's coming in so big, so large that it's this corvid here, this raven, the apex species, very intellectual here. It's not smaller than usual. It's the right size. The thing that's being outsized here, the tiny thing that's huge and triumphing, is this intuitive, like a mouse is sort of like a ball of you can almost, I just imagine them always quivering, and their senses are just sensing everything around them. They're a prey animal, not a predator animal. So in order to survive, they do all sorts of things. Actually, very fascinating. Survival instinct is usually to hide. That's one of their ways they survive. They don't attack. They hide. I mean, I think I have been bitten by a mouse, someone's pet mouse before, but typically, you know, their first manner of defense is to hide. So something that typically hides and is very sensitive to all the vibes around it pops out here in a really big way and kind of turns the tables on things. This stays the same. This isn't tiny. This is the same size as always. You know, you can see the background and the whole thing here. But it's this tiny thing, this little intuitive, sensitive thing that's popping out in this huge way, very humorously. This could have to do with your home life, that kind of thing. Could. So, All right, we're going to move to the tarot part of the tarot. All right, Taurus, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. This is really funny. This does have me having my parents in mind here, and my father in particular, the Taurus, in mind. In your past, but I'm reading it generally for everybody. He doesn't watch these, so it's fine. I'm not reading for him. In your recent past, you have the Wheel of Fortune, a change of fortune, a change. This is the wheel that's always turning, always moving forward, changing our luck. Our luck is, we're having good luck, we're having bad luck. You know, we're ready for the luck, and we do have some, our attitudes, our openness to possibilities and our attitudes does affect our luck. But there's a part of it that is just sort of like when the opportunity comes in that you've been waiting for, kind of out of your control. What that exact specifics of the opportunity out of your control. But you've been looking and dealing with opportunities that, and changes of fortune, changes of luck, and you can't see where it's going. I think there's a little bit of anxiety about these changes and fear. I'm just getting a really different sensation looking at this card. So there might be some fear and about the changes that have happened, or the changes in luck and fortune that have happened for you. There's a lot of unknown here. And the Wheel of Fortune is the unknown, basically. It's everything we don't know, everything we can't control, everything we can't see, behind the scenes stuff that changes, and it's sort of unbeknownst to us a lot of times until we see it taking effect in the real world. So the Wheel of Fortune is about the ponies on the carousel. I actually made a little playlist of all the songs I tend to reference that these cards bring out for me. They're not necessarily my favorite songs, but they're songs that the cards tend to reference. And so we do have in that playlist, there's a Joni Mitchell song of the circle. And I don't know if this is exactly what she meant by it, but what I get is like our luck goes up and down as we go around the carousel every year, rotating around the sun. So there's some things that have been sort of the good news, bad news kind of thing going on in your recent past. In your present situation, you have this Ace of Cups. You have this new emotional connection, emotional beginning. So actually, we do see this here. We see this emotional beginning. And I do want to say that this doesn't necessarily have to do with a memory of when you first met this person. This could also be our memories are so important, especially our treasured memories are so important in reminding us of what's available and what's possible in our futures. So when we have these pleasant memories of usually they're around love and being appreciated and those wonderful feelings that we get to have. And they're here to remind us, you know, she's also looking to the future here. Yeah, she's got this memory right here in her hand that she's clinging to, that's so important to, but she's also looking to the future. And that memory can remind us of what's available in the future, what emotions we're capable of feeling, what situations we've experienced in the past that help us, that elicit these feelings and these emotions from us. So you can take this past and think about the future with it, and maybe not necessarily reliving this memory right here, but understanding that you do have the capabilities for these feelings and the capabilities and looking to the future for that to come in. But this is referencing, a new emotional beginning. This is referencing a new emotional beginning in your present situation. An emotional connection, divinely guided. This is definitely divinely guided as well. So there's something destiny about this emotional connection and this emotional cup. It's overflowing. It's bringing life where maybe you thought that wasn't possible again. So in your hopes, fears, and internal landscape, we have this Emperor. This is talking about, feelings about who's in charge, who's in control of the situation, a lot of self-confidence. So you may be hoping to have a lot of self-confidence or thinking about, the ball being really in your court here, you being in charge or who is in charge, and wondering about that, wondering about who's in control of the situation, who's in charge of the situation, who has the power here. And obviously most of us would like the power in the situations. I don't think we actually do. Most of us, I think that is both a hope and a fear. I think we hope for the power because we see how good that is, and that then we can get what we want. We're also afraid of the power because then we're responsible for getting what we want. If we have all this power, and I think this definitely connects with the Wheel of Fortune here, where there's a sense of powerlessness here, or who has the power, who's making these changes, who's making this happen. And so this is thinking about control in the situation, who's in control. And if you're in control, then you have to take responsibility for all the outcomes of your decisions. And if you're not in control, you feel helpless, but also, you're not necessarily fully responsible for all of the fallout of any decision that you make. So on your mind right now, and your hopes and your fears is power, and who has that, and who has control, and the ball is in whose court? Is it in your court? Do you want it in your court? These are all things, concepts that you're thinking about. Could be causing problems, or could be just what this topic means to you, what it's triggering in you. There's some sort of thing happening, this Ace of Cups, this possibility for this new emotional beginning, this thing popping out here intuitively in a big way, and you are like, and it's bringing some stuff up from your subconscious, possibly about power, control, who gets to decide what, who's in charge of this relationship, who decides the pacing of it, who decides how we move forward, and how is that all negotiated. And yeah, you both want that, and you don't want it. I love to read biographies about queens. I think that's so fascinating because it is about this sort of concept of who's in charge, who's in control, because they have no say over their personal lives, but they have a whole lot of say over their subjects' lives, and they have all this power externally, but they have no power over their own lives. It's such a fascinating dynamic, and I think that concepts like that are on your mind right now. Maybe not exactly thinking about the queens from history, but anyway, it relates to how you're thinking about your life and control. So in your possible, or in your what's at issue here, we get this Ace of Swords. So in the upright, we'd be coming in with this epiphany, this truth, this piercing truth, and we're half blading here. One of my viewers was able to educate me on that. So, and this is a way of getting between that armor with a more control, rather than wielding this big sword and clashing against the armor that we have. The divine or whoever can grab it here, and it's, if you're already grabbing, then you're not getting those blows, so it doesn't cut it doesn't hurt you, but you're able to more use it like a dagger and be more direct and get it in between the armor, so that this epiphany can come, can pierce us beyond our defenses. So, but it's in reverse. So there's some sort of truth not coming out, ideas not coming forward. So you don't have any ideas about how to move forward, and there's a truth that's been stifled and isn't able to be communicated. So that's causing an issue here. In your recent past, in your environment, I got my map here and I'm lost on it anyway. So in your environment, you have this high priestess. So this is about, obviously this is a very highly spiritual card, but the book is closed. So you may not be able to see where to go or see what's going on, but you can sense something. You sense this high priestess is highly intuitive, but as far as getting this clarity right here, that this clarity, this honesty, this truth coming out, she's got the book closed. She doesn't want you to see. She doesn't, because the journey, when the high priestess shows up, she's telling us that the journey is more important than the knowing, than the final outcome. Like, she wants you to, it's like the concept of an open book test, although this is a closed book, but it is a similar concept as far as like, with the open book test, they don't want you to memorize. Your professors never wanted you to memorize the stuff. They want you to work with the stuff and come up with your own answers based on the information you have. So that's a bit of this, is like, they don't care about the answer being memorized or being clearly known like that. She cares about the process of discovery. And then another interesting thing that I have noticed lately is that this in your environment card can be sort of the B story of your little, life sitcom here, the sort of side story that's going on. I've gotten a lot of like responses from you guys, and also in my own life, getting this and also this other thing's going on. So it is the environment. So it could be just referencing something else going on in your environment, or it could be referencing this whole story of like, just the environment is that's maybe a little bit secretive, maybe a bit like someone doesn't want you to know something. And this could be where this who's in charge and who's in control thing. Like if you know something, do you confront them? Do you bring in this truth? Well, you're not doing that. And so who's in charge? Is this high priestess who doesn't want you to know in charge, or are you in charge? Who gets to bring in the truth? Whose truth is it? And how are you bringing it in? In your personal or in your to-do list, wow, I really have these all mixed up today. It's kind of funny. In your to-do list is 7 of Wands. So this is standing your ground, listening to your intuition and going with it. Intuition can be such a tricky thing. Is it impulsivity? Is it like, sometimes it's hard to tell what our intuition is, what our fears are, what's impulsive, what's just a good idea, what's an epiphany, what's a good idea that we thought of that makes sense intellectually, which we want to be doing, making sense of things using our brains. But this is defensive mode, maybe being a little self-defensive, but look, you are fending off these comers. So this is like, defend your ground, stand your ground, defend it, stand up for what you believe in, and sort of push back against the naysayers here. And then where we go, we've got, Wheel of Fortune, the Emperor, and the High Priestess. So a couple major arcanas here. And then where we're going here, which I find is very beautiful here, is this 4 of Wands, a possible outcome. Is this soulful union? This is the engagement card, the marriage card. Thinking of my parents again, it could be the 51st anniversary card. This is a leveling up and a leveling up of the relationship, a higher commitment, coming into a higher commitment to something, to some sort of relationship, to some sort of, maybe it's a higher commitment to your own intuition and your own path. But this is a possible outcome coming into that higher level of commitment or higher leveling up. So enjoying the fruits of these labors, enjoying the connection, that kind of thing. So it is another Wands So it does have to do with, you know, intuition and inspiration and that kind of thing. And then we also have the church in the background here, which to me is sort of a public acknowledgement of the marriage, the promotion, the engagement or whatever, just a public acknowledgement or an official acknowledgement of something that of your harvest or your reaping or your leveling up. So a public acknowledgement there, or a institutional acknowledgement. There's some sort of institution involved here. All right, so Taurus, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I do really appreciate them, and I do love, you know, hearing you guys' experiences of these storylines. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful week.